Thank you, Chris. It is a beautiful day today, and we are here in Veterans Plaza. We remember many of those who gave their lives to defend our right to vote, and one vote per person per election. And if we could, maybe all those who are poll workers here today, if you would raise your hands, let's give them a round of applause for all their work, because they're the ones in the front line defending our right to vote and defending, making sure that those who are all eligible to vote do vote and cast a ballot. This bill that we're introducing, my colleague John Becker had introduced in the prior General Assembly. We had several bills, election reform bills in the prior General Assembly, so this was one that was not able to get through the process. So he is willing to co-sponsor it again today, along with my colleagues behind me who are going to say a few additional words. But this is a bill which I believe is very important for the state of Ohio, for the sanctity of our election system, for the sanctity of making sure that it is one person, one vote, and that they are in fact residents and citizens of the United States. I sat on the Policy and Legislative Oversight Committee in the last General Assembly where we heard the elections bills, and we kept hearing the statement, as Chris Long had pointed out, that, well, we haven't heard of any cases of election fraud and nobody that's illegal has voted. Well, we know for a fact now that that is the case. We have had people who are not even U.S. citizens casting ballots in the state of Ohio. John Husted, our Secretary of State, came out with that, and that report was released well over a month ago now. Today, we are going to basically get the additional co-sponsors. I think we're up to 15 or 16 co-sponsors right now on the bill, and I expect additional co-sponsors forthcoming on it. But what the bill allows and what the bill requires is that anybody can vote in person, must have a driver's license or state ID card, regardless of whether or not the correct address is on there. So some people may be saying, well, you know, if it doesn't have the right address, well, we know that as long as they're a citizen of Ohio and they've got a proper photo ID card, the address on that is not necessarily as important. They can also have the U.S. passport and U.S. military ID card to be used in lieu of. One of the reasons I think this is important is that just for that reason, a person who has an address or a utility bill may not live there. They may not even be a resident of the state of Ohio, but they could come in and cast a ballot here and show a utility card as if that is their address, when the reality is they may be living in Florida or another state. We also know that in certain towns, specifically a lot of college towns, there are people who, students who live here as well as cast ballots here, and they've had impact on local elections, even though they're not really residents of the state. In fact, they have out-of-state tuition payments. They don't have in-state tuition payments. And that's an issue to me that, you know, they're influencing local elections unfairly, and yet they could still potentially be casting ballots in their home state. The other reason for the photo ID bill is the fact that we don't have a way to nationally verify whether or not somebody is a resident outside of the state of Ohio is in fact casting a ballot here. There isn't an easy way to do that. And for people to say that there is, well, in Ohio we've got a very good voter system where we're able to verify at least the voters somewhat in Ohio, but we don't know every single one, and we cannot verify whether or not they're all residents of the state of Ohio. Having a photo ID will be a way to do that. Now, as in the prior bill that John Becker had introduced, we're continuing the same bill, which will include a religious exemption, so that if you are such as Amish who do not want to have their photo ID, all they have to do is sign an affidavit and cast a provisional ballot, and they will be exempt from the photo ID. Anybody below 100% of the federal poverty guideline who doesn't have already a driver's license or a photo ID card could be, under this bill, given a free state ID card. So any question about whether or not this is going to cost somebody who's indigent or something money, that is not the case. We have that put in here in the bill to cover and protect them. Additionally, we've made a few other changes that will help prevent double voting. And I think this is a bill that has been long since needed. And we now have, like I said, the proof, and that was the argument that we had in the last General Assembly as well. There isn't proof of this happening when in fact there is. I just want to say special thanks to the Ohio Christian Alliance and their citizen audit for bringing forward these issues that we've heard from all over the state of Ohio, and we very much appreciate their efforts in doing this. And I want to thank all of you, the poll workers, who've worked hard to help out our elections, and without your work, these elections could not be carried out appropriately. Ohio, and there are a few other points, a couple quick points I want to make. Ohio is not the only state that has photo ID. In this particular case, the photo ID bill that we're introducing has withstood federal courts in other states. So we believe that this one will hold up here in Ohio as well. Additionally, we're not the only state that has photo ID. There is a whole slew of states who also have photo ID already that have been in place and have been in place for a while. They have strict photo ID in Georgia, Indiana, Kansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, Texas, Virginia, and Wisconsin. Non-strict in Alabama, Florida, Hawaii, Idaho, Louisiana, Michigan, Rhode Island, and South Dakota. Additionally, there are other non-photo ID forms in many other states. For a total of at least 37 states have some form of ID requirement. I believe this is something that will help protect Ohio's elections, and I do appreciate all of your support and the support of my colleagues.